welcome to fmtraining.tv, where we're here to talk about the wonderful FileMaker platform. I'm here with Christian Schmitz, who is an absolute joy to have on the stream every time he's here. He makes the MBS plugin, which is legitimately absolutely fantastic. Seriously, if there's one way you could help yourself as a developer and make your life so much easier, get the MBS plugin. A bunch of the free features alone will revolutionize your life. I use so many parts of it constantly. Okay, real quick, let's talk about our live stream training schedule. If you don't have the MBS plugin, you should definitely get it. It is extremely cheap for what it does, frankly. So I'm going to pull it up, MonkeyBread Plug-in. I forget the exact, I should know this by now. Here we go. It's on version 14.2. And basically it's this. So I always talk about this a couple times. RCC generally is pretty conservative about the plugins and things that it recommends. Mostly because Richard is a big believer that he has to use it and he has to be like a giant fan before he wants to go on a show and advertise it to people. We've had Christian on, a couple months ago, he said he'd been on 42 times on the live stream. We're well past that point now, I think. It's fantastic. It does a ton. It is over 7,000 functions now, I believe. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. It is continuously getting larger. Please pick it up. Please buy it. Seriously, at the very least, you should try it. There's a ton of free stuff, but you should definitely buy it. So here's our live stream training schedule. We do this 5 days a week from 1 p.m. Pacific time to 2 p.m. generally. Sometimes we go over. So today we're doing an open MBS Q&A. There are 7,000 functions. People often get lost or kind of like, I need to do something, or can it do something? So these are the sort of questions we're tackling today. So with that, hey Christian, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me again.
We love having you.
Yeah. So, anyone prepared some questions?
I have actually some questions that we've had some people ask some stuff over in streams, and I kind of slowly collect them as time goes on because, one I'll ask, I think Richard sent this one to you, but I think it's good to talk about. Does anyone know how the MonkeyBread plugin determines how many licenses/seats a company uses? If a customer buys a 20-seat license, does that mean if a user installs MonkeyBread plugin or 5 different computers of his, does that mean the company has used one license or seat because it's only related to one user? Or is a license/seat used every time MonkeyBread is installed?
So usually we ask the client how many people are using it, how many installations do you have, and then we pick a number usually. So normally we ask also how many licenses they buy for FileMaker. So we can match it.
Got it. Okay, that's a good.
Technically, the plugin, of course, performs a few checks, like it counts how many people are using it at a time. So we can see how many use it, and if you go over the limit, we can point you to that. I mean, you buy a 20 seats license and you use it on 30 computers. I don't know if it's different people. I don't know.
There you go.
So,
okay.
But the plugin doesn't complain directly if you are just over the limit. So there is a little grace period. So if you just fire up a second FileMaker and then look something up and then close it, I think it works quite well.
I think so. So there we go.
And we hope our customers are honest.
Hopefully most of them are. Like I said, it's not that expensive. So, okay. So this is something that keeps popping up that I see in questions and chats. This is 2 variations of kind of the same question. I would like to use voice control to talk to an AI search in FileMaker like Siri does. Can MBS help me with this? And also, our fingers are sore when we send emails from FileMaker on Windows. We like to be able to speak into our email directly into FileMaker. Can MBS help with this?
Well, that's also difficult. We don't have any text-to-speech directly in the plugin. That's usually, well, you can use the dictation function from the operation system, so you could try that. Otherwise, not sure.
Okay, well, good to know.
You have for Siri, you have the intent system, and you know that you can mark scripts to donate. But I think that's only for FileMaker Go, isn't it?
I actually don't know.
But you can ask Siri to run a script in FileMaker. That's a feature Claris added a few versions ago.
That's good to know. Another question then. Can you use the Excel functions to password protect an exported Excel FileMaker file?
Well, the thing with password protection, it's on the wish list for libxl for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
You can protect individual sheets in a document, but not the whole document. So if you protect just a sheet with a password, well, someone would need a password normally to see it, but of course there are a couple of tools available to unlock that.
Got
And the full file encryption is something we would like to have, and talked about it several times, but seems to take time. The conditional formatting was a little bit more often requested. So yeah, no,
That
that
makes
wasn't.
sense.
There's a long feature list or feature wish list for both the MBS plugin, for DynaPDF, for libxl.
That makes sense. Hi, I'm having issue troubleshooting MBS errors. How do I use the MBS error capture?
Okay, so let's say we launch FileMaker. And finally, I can launch the green one here. So make a new file, let's say a blank file, test. So let's say error log as a field, maybe. And make it bigger so we can see something. And now let's say we have a script. And say a normal script test. Set variable. Let's say you do something like, let's say you do a files list of a folder that doesn't exist. That will give you an error. If we run this, normally if I don't do a live stream, there's I have the option enabled that MBS errors show as notifications, but that's off for the live stream. So you would get an error. Your script may continue. You may not know why it's not working as intended. So I often get people who have a script with maybe 20 lines of MBS calls. They don't check for error every line. So normally you would do this maybe and say here, show custom dialog and failed. So let's run this, and you see there is an error message.
Oh, okay, got it.
So, but like if you have something like 20 calls, let's say we have here something others, or yeah, what could be? Oops. Is with this application, okay, we have a different call, and here we have another call, and say what else could we do? So let's say is hidden. So, and here make another function. So we see them in the log. What could we do? Launch, yeah. So we have 4 calls, all make an error. Yeah. And we don't want to write is error after every line. Especially if you do things like here, Excel or PDF, you have 100 calls. So we want to have the plugin collect all these errors. And so the first thing is to say clear errors on the start, because the plugin basically manage a list of errors per thread, which on FileMaker Pro basically means there's just one list. But on a FileMaker server with scripts running on the server, you have a list for every thread. So if a script performs on a server, it collects only its errors. And if another script is running the same time, it would have its own error list. And then on the end, you can ask for the errors. Oops. Error log. So, and for example, put it in a field, write it to a log file. Just put it here in the field. Still have the message boxes in, and this is the error log. Error log is basically just a JSON array where we collect objects describing every time an MBS function fails. So let's say just I remove these lines, or at least keep one. Okay, for the example here, disable. Let's say I make a call which is successful. Let's say just version. And I always ask people to run MBS version, because if it returns a question mark, the plugin is not installed or active. Especially on the server, people have they put in the plugin in the folder, but they don't activate it in the admin console. So the version function may not work. But here, the version function did work, so it's not in the log. And we just see the errors. We see for every error the name of the function. We see the result message. We see the parameters, so you can inspect what you passed to this function at this time. There's a timestamp, just in case you want to know when it happened, and the current file and script name. So, yeah.
Having the script
Very useful.
is
You
really
can wrap this and say MBS, what was it, got errors? Let's see, no, hey. Or was it had errors? Okay. So we have a function to tell you if errors happened. So you can do your error handling here and can say, well, somewhere in this PDF generation in the 200 calls, there was an error, like a font not found or so. So you can later inspect that. Yeah. And it's very important to, well, find a way to handle errors in your script. Like if you write a script to run every month to do some reporting, and you don't notice that it failed 3 months ago, your boss may not be happy. So if something fails, you should maybe email a log to yourself. Say, the script failed.
so you're actually aware of it happening.
Yeah, we did quite a few functions on error handling. Let's see. So this is clear errors. And you can add your own entries if you want. So, for example, you can take a FileMaker error and put it to the log like this here. Let me maybe just copy this. So this is a custom function. So let's just copy it and use it. So settings, no, yeah, not settings. We go to custom functions and we add a new custom function. And it gets a parameter. This is named context, okay. And we copy this let statement. Let's just check the syntax. Yeah, it's fine. Store it. Okay. Now let's cause an error. Perform script by name. The script name is hidden for security purposes. It's XXX. And now here we have we call add FileMaker log, and we can pass a context called XXX script. So you can pass whatever text you like to the custom functions, and now we can run it again. And yeah, we didn't do error capture, but this entry here appears in our log with all the other MBS errors. So you can use the MBS error log to collect all the FileMaker errors too, if you like.
Which is convenient, keeps them all in one place.
Yeah, let's see. So error capture on to avoid the dialogues from FileMaker. Then you can do a couple of things like here, yeah, print something, perform a script, and this even uses a check error. Oh, did I write about that? Maybe on the blog. Check error, new error log functions. Oh. So do we have the error? No, we don't have it here. So the idea was to have a custom function to check if there was an error. If there was an error, we exit the loop, and this is a script running with just one loop. So exit loop allows us basically to, well, exit this block at any time and then continue below with our error handling. And the check error custom function will just check if get last error isn't empty and then log it. And we could do that too here. Let's make a new custom function. Doesn't need a parameter, and say let. So get last error. And now we could say if E is not 0, so we had an error, then we call the add FileMaker error to look function and say here in what error. You can write whatever you like. Otherwise, nothing. And now here exit and return E is not 0. Oh, check syntax, yeah. And now I can do something here and can say, first capture the error. Perform the script. And here I could say, so I could put the whole thing in a loop. And then here I can do my perform script with the error and say exit loop if check error. So, and here, this is where you would continue. No error. Where you would continue if there's no error, but if there's an error, it would do the check error and then jump down here. Let's try it and see if something happens. Yeah, we see the entry here for found error. So this is an error handling you can use if you like. The custom function with MBS makes it maybe a little convenient. Otherwise, you would use maybe a global variable also to collect your error messages and then check that later, whatever.
But this sort of assembles it all for you without having to go through all the pain and agony of that, which is nice.
Yeah.
We have I just said we have another question if you're good on the error, but if you got more things you want
I thought about it. There was another thing for errors, an older thing we had, and it was to have an trigger.
Oh.
Error script trigger here. A script trigger to call if a plugin call returns an error.
Oh, that's nifty.
So you can register a script trigger, and this is from, there's a date, from 21. So it has been in the plugin for 3 years already. The idea is that you pick a script to run whenever there's an error in FileMaker Pro. This doesn't work with scheduled scripts, but it should work on, no, not on WebDirect. It doesn't work on the server. It's just for FileMaker Pro. There's a JSON where you get a lot of information, and then you can write it to your log table or whatever.
That's actually cool.
Yeah.
Didn't even realize that was an option. I knew about the other stuff. I didn't know about that one. So, question we have is, does MBS have a function to list all of the dates between a set of dates?
I don't think we have such a function.
Oh, okay.
That's something you could do in FileMaker, I think, easily. Like,
It sounds like you should be able to do it in FileMaker, but I'm never sure.
Yeah, let's just code here a little bit. Let's say we have a start date, which is get current date, and we have an end date. Let's say that's, now you know that's just 5 days more. And let's just check what's in the variable by running it here with the MBS list usage not. Is it the semicolon? Yeah. So I'm in Germany. We put day, months, year.
Yes.
And the dates, like you know. So it adds 5 days by just adding 5 in FileMaker. So I could have a list And I could have a while loop. While loop, and the while loop could define something like current date is a start date. It could have an end condition, like current date is below end date. It could have the list as result. Let me usually put it in the start condition. So we need the logic. The logic is current date plus 1. And list is list, and so let's say the list starts with the current date because it will go up. Yeah, well, evaluate. Oh yeah. Whatever stupid error I make here on coding. So
There you go. List of dates.
28, okay, smaller then. So it's now from start date. So let's here say start date and end date and so from 28 to yeah. So let me copy it in the chat.
There you go. Some
Yeah, and
slick and speedy real life
that's okay.
FileMaker
Yeah.
function
By the
creation.
way, if you like to evaluate something on the go, you can just use our here run button, of course, but you can use what was it, shift click to just run the
Oh,
use. So here, okay. Yeah. So if you have a few lines you like to evaluate, you can do that.
oh wait, you can actually just highlight the certain chunk you want to check and then shift
Yeah.
click it.
And then shift click, yeah.
I did not know about that. That's cool.
Yeah, and we can of course format the whole thing so it looks a little bit nicer.
I definitely use the format.
Like the format button is quite useful, and I updated it recently. Oh yeah, I should show you. Let's see if it works. This is live. Things may break. There are some people who love to have the semicolons on the start.
Oh, that's their coding habit.
Yeah, some people like it that way. And if you have them on the start, the MBS plugin will format the code with the semicolon on the left side.
Oh, that's nice and convenient. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
So it takes
just
both options into account.
the little things, you know.
It really is all the little things that like irritate you, and you're slowly knocking them away. Oh, that's cool.
So, do we have more questions?
I do have another question. Hey, can I manipulate Word documents using the MBS plugin? I have a checkbox inside of a Word document that I'd like to check off using MBS.
Checkbox. Well, maybe you should talk about that. I have a few Word file functions, but checkboxes are not here on this list. So we can do a little things with Word files, like replacing text, which is what people usually ask for.
Mm-hmm.
But a checkbox?
I didn't realize that Word had checkboxes.
Yeah, it has a lot of things. Like we recently added checkboxes for Excel files. It's
Oh,
also something like you have the possibility to have controls and form building in Excel and probably also in Word. And so we needed a few functions to work on them. So yeah, I have a set field text, which is actually to fill in a text field in a Word file.
mm-hmm.
So we could maybe make a field checkbox function, yeah. So maybe email me in the next days, send me a sample Word file.
But what you're trying to do? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, why not?
I want my PDF preview to start at a page other than one, or to open on a page other than one. Can MBS help with that?
Well, you mean the preview and the FileMaker
I think that's
container?
what they're referring to.
So that's FileMaker loading in there. I mean, we could, of course, render you a preview picture of a certain page, and you could show that in a container.
Oh, so you get around it that way?
Yeah, we regularly get this question about how to how to show a PDF without people having the possibility to just copy the PDF. Let me see. There's
Oh, yeah, that's an option. I always wonder how people with PDFs actually do that when they're suddenly not
like you have what is an old example we made years ago. Let's say I just import a PDF installation. So and so we render a page with standard PDF, but you could also use PDF Kit or Windows PDF functions. So we render a picture for every page, and you can show those pictures in containers. And this would allow you to show them anywhere. I mean, even in WebDirect. And the user couldn't just steal. I mean, we often have the question about how to prevent people for just using here a print button, a save button on the preview,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that we could anyway control which page opens directly.
Got it. Well, that makes sense. I want to send hyperlinks in my emails using the MBS plugin. How do I do that?
Well, you build the HTML to send it. Yeah. Yeah, this is you have to make some HTML,
And
and
then
then you send the email with HTML. I mean, you have examples for that. If you need to send emails, you still have this older example where we well, you basically pass HTML to the plugin to well, so let's see. You would maybe start with, let's say, just take some text, and now you could say here in FileMaker, you could say get us CSS to get you the HTML from the field, or you use our MBS text to HTML function. They work a little bit different, so the result is a little bit different. So this would give you the style text. And then you could do something like here, say, I want this text to be the link, and then you would make a substitute and basically replace it. Say HTML, this should be FN Training TV, and then you have your HTML with a link. You may also, put a header in front. Like you may change it to be real HTML and, body tag, maybe header tags,
there you go.
Let me see our function. Does it do a little bit more? Text. Text is not a good word to search. HTML. Code. Text to HTML. So yeah, this gives you a full document. So you have here headers and metadata like the UTF-8 encoding. And we have a few options here. To skip fonts to strong instead of a B tag, keep links in there. So you can pass through here, keep links, so you can just use smaller than a, so you could just write HTML links in your text and we pass them through. This could be helpful.
If you're doing this sort of thing.
Yeah, it would be like here. I would just code it right here and say here, this is a link up to here. And say this goes to planning TV. And now I could say to the plugin text to text to HTML. My text is in the plain text field. Let's just start with default, and you see here this got encoded, and we don't want that. So going back to the documentation to find the magic numbers at 16. And now the link got passed through. And it still did the bold here and the font family. So no, it's strong. It's not bold, it's strong.
There you go.
Yeah. So maybe that is a convenient thing to have the plugin encode everything, but pass through the links.
Which would kind of nail the issue that they're having, I think. Cool. Could you show an example of creating a fillable form in PDF?
Sure, yeah, why not? That would be using DynaPDF, light version at least, and we have a form folder here. Let's see, we have a template PDF. Oh, this is a form. Oh, let me look at the documentation. So if you look for something like this, you would go here and see DynaPDF, and you would want to have something create text field, yeah. And then you could see the example here, which is just calling it with a few parameters, and you would see here create PDF, create form. So those three examples use that function. So let's maybe start with the create form example here. So type text field, name, first name, some coordinates, description field, a value. Okay, let's just run the script and export the PDF. Open it, yeah, it got a field, yeah. So the script just calls this function as far as I know. So for text field, we call create text field. If you have a value, you can put it in with set text field value. So you need to define a name. The name must be unique within the document. You can have grouping of fields. So there's a parent. I think it was a parent. Oops, where are we? So there's a parent group. You can define whether it's a multi-line or a single line entry. You can define a maximum length or just pass 0 for unlimited. And then you need coordinates within the PDF document. So it may be that you just load an existing PDF. You know the coordinates or where your fields go, and then you just add fields as needed. Then we have the form example here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the idea that, see, we have here we have a custom functions. So that's my template form. So we have a Word document. You know, customers like to make the templates themselves. So someone wrote a Word document like this and then exported it to PDF. And we got this here. This is the basic thing, just the text. And then here for this example, I made a custom function. The custom function does something. So it finds the text we are looking for on the page. And then from the position we get, it calculates here the coordinates, and then creates a field next to this text. So we get this PDF. The form the fields are got here a border. So this is on purpose, so you see them. So we see the text first name is here on the left. So we put a field in this row, and the last name is, so the customer can move this as they need. Or I could just do that. So let's say email moves down and city moves down, and I export this to PDF. And let me just move this in here. And now in my example, I go and say, create the template. And a template is here, and you see it moved down. So we look at the position of the text and automatically create fields for that with the same name.
That's nice that it actually reflects that, which is cool.
Yeah. So the idea is really that the end user can change their template. Like if they got a new company name, a new address, whatever, they can't add a field without telling us, but they can move around the fields or add whatever text they need, make different versions for different purposes.
Which is really
And
nice.
then, as here the idea, we have a template file, and we can have a record in FileMaker, and we can export that record as a PDF. Then we put in the values here with set field text value. And now I can change it. I can move and say I'm moving to San Jose or so. Save this PDF, and then I can import the changes from the PDF and get the new city name here. This works by the export is here. We open the template file, we import the content, we open an output file, and then we go here. Just call set text field value for every field once to pass in the value in the FileMaker field to the field with the same name in the PDF document. And then when the cleanup happens, the file is closed and saved. And when we update from the PDF, we open the PDF, we import everything, and now we go and use a hidden field. There's a hidden field called ID in the PDF, where we store our record ID. So this ID is in the PDF document. And first name, last name, address, city, country. So we see all the values here. By the way, I can show you that it's there because I can disable the compression. Set compression level. Oops. So disable compression. I do an export. And now I can put this on a text editor. And we can see the source code of the PDF. And we'll just search for first name. There's first name. Okay, that's field definitions. What was the name? Peter. And so I find here the text in the PDF. So twice. The ID, it's all there. Right in the PDF. Stores it twice for some reason. Okay.
How did you hide the ID again, out of curiosity? You just marked the field as
Oh
not.
yeah. When we create it here, there's if the field name is ID, we do some special thing by calling here set field flags, and we set a few flags. We set the hidden flag, the read-only flag, the invisible flag, and the no-view flag.
What's the difference between invisible
Yeah, good
and no
that you
view?
asked. So we have fields that are hidden. We have fields that are invisible and fields that are not drawn. And there are 3 different ways to hide a field. And probably someone in Acrobat, someone at Adobe had a good idea for that. And I would have, why do we have 3 flags? Let's see, do we have anything in the documentation? Set field flags. Let's see if the PDF guy is here. No, just here. So, okay. Invisible means do not display the annotation if it does not belong to one of the standard annotation or no additional handlers or whatever. Okay. And hidden said do not display or print the annotation or allow it to interact with the user regardless of the annotation or whether an annotation handler is available. Seems like this is for the standard ones and this is for the non-standard ones.
Huh. Interesting.
So, and then this was PDF 1.2, and then in 1.3 they got a no view one. Okay? Do not display the annotation on screen or to interact with the user. Okay. Maybe print it. So you could have a print flag to say it's not visible on screen, but still printed.
Okay. Interesting. Huh.
So you can have, yeah, you can have a thing you don't see on screen, but you see on printing.
That makes sense. So, but initially I saw it, I was like, huh. Those all sound suspiciously
you could
identical.
drive people crazy by just, having some invisible text on the PDF saying, don't print me. And you only see it when you print it.
Oh, that's so mean. It would be funny, but that's very oh, that's funny. Do we have any follow-up questions about the PDF or fillable forms?
Yeah.
It remains an insanely cool feature. Seriously, I remember you showing this for the first time. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Otherwise, I have a question about, sounds like someone wants to make a database to track all of their business computers, and if MBS can help with that. Like they're trying to track their iPhones or like the different iPhones that their employees are using, I guess, or the locations of them.
Yeah, well, you could, of course, if they are running FileMaker, so they would, so if you have a company-wide CRM solution, whatever, and people start it and log in, then you may want to have the start script maybe check some things like, is this a computer in the list of computers we know? So your login procedure could go and ask with the plugin for some hardware things on the computer, like what's the name of the CPU, what's the Mac, so the Ethernet hardware address, what's the Mac model name or serial number, what's, how much RAM, how much CPUs, or Windows here, what's the Windows version exactly, product key. So you could identify here you can ask for some system or machine information. You can check if it's ARM. So when you start your solution, you could check some statistics. So you could write them in a database and have an overview, what operation systems are used and what computers are used. And you could maybe check if the computer is already known or if it's a new computer.
That's cool that you could check if it.
Yeah, that's good.
That. So do you save like how did you check again if it was a new computer versus
Or you
an
could ask for the computer name. So you could
the name, got
ask
it.
what's the name assigned to this computer in system preference, like this is maybe Christian's MacBook. So you could see if you have this computer already, and you could maybe make a log to see which user logs in on which computers. People like to log in, to log a lot of things.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's more important to log which scripts get called. Or,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, like you could have a custom function called on the beginning of a script to count up, to make some statistics which scripts get used, so you know what you're doing. You may have scripts which are never called, and then why spend the time to maintain them? You could just remove the script if it's never used. But be careful, do your logging at least for a year, because otherwise the things that are done once a year don't appear in the log. Yeah, like
So seriously.
once in a year, someone clicks on this button to make the report, and they need it only one time in the year, and only if it's a leap year or whatever.
So you want to make
Um,
sure that you don't delete those features out from underneath them.
yeah, another thing is you can ask the plugin about what functions you used. That's something I like to use. So you can get the list of the MBS functions you're using.
Oh, that's nifty.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially since the file I'm working on, the MBS folder, is aggressively growing by the day.
Yeah, we are already working on the next version. And by the way, statistics, we are already on 7,400.
152,
Yeah,
almost to 500. Oh,
yeah.
that's cool. So,
So yeah. And why do you want to know which functions you're using? That's a security thing, because the plugin has the ability to limit which functions are available. So instead of
oh,
having all, where is it, set functions, yeah. So you can tell the plugin which functions you like to have available in your start script. And so you can limit the number of functions available to the user to just a list of functions you like to use.
that's
So
really
and you
cool.
can use wildcards, so you can say we need this and this, but everything else is then turned off.
Okay, so what happens if they somehow manage to run a script that has a function they can't use in it?
Yeah, then you get an error.
Got it.
Function not
Okay.
available. So the plugin internally has a dispatcher,
Hmm.
which takes the function name you pass and then looks up in a table which C function to call. And if you use set functions, this table for the dispatcher gets reduced to only the names you allow. So it's no longer technically possible to bring the function back once it's removed from the list, unless you start FileMaker and then the plugin loads again. And so that's something you have to do in the start script.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. That's cool. I did not know that was even a feature available.
So I just saw a message from David about get persistent ID. So
Yeah.
get persistent ID is a nice thing. Let's see, persistent ID. That's more or less a random number, as a hex string, that FileMaker generates when you install FileMaker or run it the first time. So if you delete the correct file on the disk, this is gone, and you get a new one.
Interesting. I didn't realize it could
So
change.
as far as I know, it's just a random value FileMaker generates, and so yeah, it's quite unique because people don't, once it's installed and the file is there with the ID, then it usually doesn't change.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't generally delete version, even really old versions that can't run anymore. I don't generally delete those off my machine. I probably should, but you never know. I have a question actually. What was that
You
file that
can install a lot of FileMaker versions. Where's my folder? So I need to test this, people. So let me just show you what I have installed. So if someone calls me and says plugin doesn't work on FileMaker 14, I can still run FileMaker 14 here and all the different 19 versions. And this is the one for Eastern Europe.
I didn't realize
Uh,
there was one
yeah,
specifically.
there is an Eastern Europe version for every version. There's a Winsoft people translated. So people in like in Poland get a Polish version,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kept one so I can see if my plugin localization works. But otherwise, I'm just a collector of FileMaker versions.
That's really cool, honestly. I can't get 17 to work on my OS anymore, so
Yeah, you can't
acme.
install it. The installer may be broken. The key thing here is that I migrated from an older Mac to a newer Mac and just
Oh, got
kept
it.
them.
You keep
So
fixing it
where you
forward.
can't install them nowadays, you can just keep them by, yeah,
Interesting.
migrating.
That's
So
nifty.
if you want them, you may want to install first an older operation system on some Mac, set up it with FileMaker 14, 15, 16, and so
Then
on,
begin
and then
upgrading.
migrate to it to a newer Mac, carry it over.
That's actually a nifty trick. Didn't even know you
It's
could do
all about this little hidden files for the licenses, you know?
that. Oh, okay.
So, okay.
So I wanted to ask you about, you had that really cool book file that where you made the book using MBS. What file
Yeah.
was that called again? I don't even remember. I remember I keep meaning to
Um,
it.
we have an example folder. You can sort by date,
Oh, that would probably help.
and you find relative new files on the top. So like the page layouting one, maybe, or the book creation one.
There we go. Okay. So I was looking for that the other day. I was going to see if I could fiddle with that and see if it did to publish in the e-publishing format, which is a nightmare
Well,
to deal
EPUB
with.
files, if I remember correctly, are just XML files.
Oh, okay. So I would just use the XML functions instead.
Yeah, you would have to look up the structure. Maybe you have to compress your XML file on the end, but otherwise it should just be XML.
Okay, that's good to know.
We
Uh,
have plenty of XML functions.
yes, there's a whole slew. Somewhere in the 7,500 functions, there's an absolute giant list
There we go. Just 48.
just for only 48. Sorry, excuse
If
me.
you have an idea for a new version, a new function, please let me know.
I will let you know. We'll see how this goes. Mostly because I want to streamline that because trying to publish books in the e-publishing format for Kindle is very problematic and a giant pain in the butt. Okay, so, oh yeah, just some comments about the PDF stuff. The PDF form is really useful when sending forms to customers to update their data. It practically eliminates data entry when WebDirect is not an option. So, someone is a particular
Yeah,
fan.
and we had this live stream where we added buttons to the form.
Yes.
So the user could click, if they fill it out with Adobe Reader, they can just click a button to send the form to your website from within the PDF.
So they don't even need to email it back,
Yeah,
which is insane, by the
yeah.
way.
There was a live stream about that.
Yes, there was.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't see any other questions at the moment. Christian, anything you want to talk about or cover? We're kind of drifting down.
Well, do I have anything new? Yeah. There's a function I made for a customer today.
Oh, well, I'm nosy now.
Yeah, and the thing is the question, do we have a formatting bar visible?
You can't click it and use it, so I would say,
No, the thing is it there? So I can
oh
use it
yes,
when I'm
oh
in the
yes,
field, yeah.
yes, it's
But
there.
the question is there a formatting bar? Does anyone know if FileMaker has already a function? Because I just spent here time to make here the has formatting bar function. Check that. So it's one now, and let me hide it. And yeah, so now it's 0. So I made it. It spent some time to get it working on Windows, and it will be in the next plugin.
That's awesome. That's nice. We always have to like enable the formatting bar on like a billion of our scripts
But
because it gets tossed off.
is it really? I mean, formatting there is. So
It's
there is an allow
allowing, but it
from
doesn't really
config.
tell you
Is it
it's there.
that? No, this is 1, and I just wonder. doesn't. So it's hidden currently, and formatting bar, now it's visible, and this says 1. This is whether it's allowed, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, but there is no functions for this. So maybe
There you go.
after 35 years of FileMaker, we finally can see if we have a formatting bar.
Otherwise, I think we're probably good. Thank you, Christian. Seriously, as always, it's fantastic having you on. This plugin is amazing.
Hmm?
I will let everyone go and have a good weekend, and I'll run the music. So, more
Thanks
stuff.
everyone for coming.
Yes,
See you
absolutely.
next time.
Bye.